Shabbat Shalom. This week, we read the Torah portion of Shmini. One of the most famous stories in this week's Torah portion is the death of Aaron's sons, Nadav and Avihu. I don't want to talk specifically about that. I'll leave that to our Bat Mitzvah celebrant Saturday morning, Julie Cohen. What I want to talk about is their father, Aaron's reaction. The text gives us two words to explain Aaron's reaction. Vayidom Aharon. And Aaron was silent. Here is Aaron watching two of his sons consumed by a fire, killed in the very place that they stand, and all he does is he's silent. Later on in a few weeks, we'll read that Aaron is gifted as the only person who is allowed to go into the Holy of Holies, and many of the commentators say that this is God and Moses' reward to Aaron for accepting the fate of his two sons. In other words, as the commentator suggests, Aaron didn't argue, didn't quibble with the punishment that Nadav and Abihu are given, and his silence is tacit acceptance, that he understands what they did wrong and feels as though their punishment is justified. I don't know if that is true, but I read an entirely different thing into Aaron's response. Vayidom Aharon, and Aaron is silent. Sometimes there are no responses. Sometimes there are simply no words. When we look at certain tragic events, the words to explain them, to make us feel better, to somehow give a little bit of context to the most horrific of things that could happen, just escape us. As I'm giving this Dvar Torah, Jews around the world are celebrating Yom HaShoah Ugvura, Holocaust Remembrance and Bravery Day. And for many of us, the pain caused by this event so many years ago is still fresh and still real. And we commemorate by lighting candles and by remembering, but perhaps the only way to respond to an event like this is by silence, to understand that there are no words, that there is nothing that we could possibly say to make it make sense. Sometimes we're just silent. And that silence is not acceptance, as the commentators would suggest. That silence is not tacit approval, but that silence is the recognition that there simply are no words, that some things defy human explanation, and rather than try to, we're silent. And that silence reflects our pain, our loss, our misery, and our longing. I hope and I pray this Shabbat as we read Shmini and this Yom HaShoah Ugvura, as we remember the many victims of the Holocaust, that we can find those words to explain these tragedies, but when we can't, that silence, a little bit of quiet, will be enough. Shabbat Shalom.